first for the Bucs. Zeke Elliott broke the dog. Jalen Smith. That is a play to remember. Oh, what a tackle by Jalen Smith.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the next episode of the Frisco Report. This podcast here this evening tonight is going to be jam-packed with the latest Dallas Cowboy free agency moves. We got a lot to cover. We're going to talk about who left, who signed, ramifications, and the future of this roster. So, Mike, you ready to do this?
Let's jump into it, Joe. Let's do it, dude. I'm so excited. It's football time.
It's football time, man. So legal tampering, we got a couple more hours up until Wednesday, and then it's pretty much full on, So it's a big day in Dallas. Obviously the big news: Dak Prescott franchise tag exclusive, $33 million. Nobody else can touch him. So what's your thoughts there on the franchise tag for Dak?
Expected, Joe. Super expected. And, there's reports coming out about they offered him more than Carson Wentz. They offered him more than Jared Goff. And right now they're fighting length of contract. I think it's bigger than that, in my opinion. Now, there's nothing proving my opinion out there, but for Dak Prescott not being signed and they offered more than Carson Wentz and Jared Goff, Joe, I think length and some other things, all right, is playing a factor. Maybe it's guarantees.
Yeah, it's probably the guarantees, because you look at some of these other players that aren't as good. I mean, Kirk Cousins got a fully guaranteed contract. He's already finishing that deal, so he raked in the money, and for all intents and purposes, Dak Prescott is head and shoulders better than these other guys. He's better than this guy over here that got that deal, Cousins. He sucks, dude. Carson Wentz, drafted in the same draft class. Can't really call him a bust, but he hasn't been that overall top pick, that they did, trade up to get him. So, I think they said Dak Prescott's like number 2 in all time wins since 2016 or something like that. So that's right. Impressive. The resume is impressive. I think it'll get done long term. I don't think this is gonna drag on to like another Cousins where they keep franchise tagging him, but it is the Cowboys. We love the drama, and we have some drama here, right? We got a lot of players defecting. We didn't, and you and I, to our credit, not to toot our horn, but we're gonna go ahead and do it. Dude, a lot of these players left, and we are kind of in a rebuilding mode. Wouldn't you say, Mike?
I think we are, and I think once Dak Prescott gets signed, we're gonna see if they're rebuilding or not. Because if it's a 4-year deal, I don't think, or 3-year deal, 3 or 4 year deal, I don't think the Cowboys are rebuilding. If it's 5+ a long-term deal, I can see us rebuilding, right? So it all has to do on how they treat Dak Prescott, Joe, in my opinion. But, we're letting talent leave. Long-time Cowboy vets are going. 1-year Cowboy vets are leaving too. But, they gotta start getting in the mix here tomorrow in free agency and go building the draft. But to say they're real building right now, it's looking like it, but there's still pieces that we need to look at in the future to say, okay, yes, we are rebuilding. No, we aren't rebuilding.
Yeah, so I think we're right, borderline and stuff. We do have our core players on the offensive side. Looks really, it looks good, obviously, but let's go ahead and cover some of these other players here and how they're going to impact this team here. Amari Cooper, wow, we cut it close here, didn't we, Mike?
Oh my goodness, what was it? What did I text you? Was it Sunday night? I couldn't even sleep.
Yeah, you
worried
did.
about.
Yeah.
Dude, I was up till 2 a.m, tossing and turning, wondering if 19 was going to get signed, Joe.
That's diehard. That's when you're deep in it as a Cowboys fan, when you're just losing sleep over the Cowboys. All right. I'm with you right there, man. I'm with you. But they got it done, man. 5-year, $100 million. I mean,
40.
Yeah, so
guaranteed.
Yeah, 40 guaranteed. So some fans were like, "Hey, that's too high. This isn't that, and this, and like, oh, man, in another year or two, this is going to be savings. Just how these deals are. Fans are going to cry up front, but I mean,
Can I tell you how smart this deal is, though?
yeah, go ahead.
The guarantees $40 million. It's a $100 million contract, 5 years. His base salary for the first year is $11 million. So you're not cap strapping yourself. It still allows you room to go get somebody else, like that big Baconator defensive nose tackle we were talking about, right? And then his next year, the second year of Amari Cooper's contract, it's going to be a hit, but it's going to be a productive hit because you still have Amari Cooper at the top of his prime. That third year, you can let Amari Cooper, you can cut him, and the dead money won't even be as high as people think it is because the $40 million guarantees is the perfect number to this 5-year, $100 million contract, Joe.
Yeah, that's a good point on Cooper's contract, and that's kind of why, I wish they would have got a long-term deal. And that's not to say that, Cowboys aren't still working on Prescott right now as we talk, but, you can spread that contract. It's not exactly $20 million per year, that kind of thing, but it would help. But getting Cooper in here, that's Dak Prescott's guy still, and like I said, you still need that number one presence. Every quarterback needs their guy, right? It's not about Dak Prescott can't win without Amari Cooper, or he's not a good quarterback because he requires the number one receiver. All these quarterbacks require receivers. I mean, look at Brady. He didn't do crap last year. Didn't have enough weapons. So it's you got to have weapons. You're going to war. You got to have weapons, or you're going to be caught out there in no man's land taking mortar hits and getting blown the heck up. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I think you're spot on with that one, Joe.
The next one here, Mike. Blake Jarwin, the tight end. The torch has been officially passed. Now, it's a pretty affordable deal as well, considering how much he's played. So, a lot of fans, for the most part, like this deal. He's young. He showed splashes when he was given the opportunity last season. So, what's your thoughts here on the Blake Jarwin extension?
Smart by the Cowboys. Hooper was out there. The former Atlanta Falcons. The Cowboy fans were like, "Oh, we got to go get Hooper from the Atlanta Falcons." But you got a guy right here, Blake Jarwin. There's some blocking issues. Blake Jarwin could play the slot. If we can get a blocking tight end here via the draft, and I already touched on Dalton Schultz and his blocking ability. Dalton Schultz still part of this team, right? So passing of the torch, absolutely, Joe. And it was overdue. This should have happened last year. We were all happy. The GOAT, Jason Witten, came back and played one more year for the Cowboys. But in reality, the 70% snap count Jason Witten got, Blake Jarwin should have got 70%, and Jason Witten should have got the 30%. But at the end of the day, the Cowboys, Will McClay, Mike McCarthy, they believe in this guy. We as fans believe in this guy. Great move by the Dallas Cowboys. Wrapping up Blake Jarwin.
Yes. Blake Jarwin re-signed. So for me, I like it, but like you said, I would like to add another tight end in the mix, and I think that will come via the draft. Although I definitely don't see it as being an early pick now. Probably looking at a mid-rounder type of guy. But it's good, man. At some point, you have to peel the Band-Aid off, and that's it. We're in a new era. We're gonna see if we're, it was Jay Novacek. Then we went through that no man's land. Then we got Witten. So now, this is it. We're gonna find out real quick. If he's gonna be the long-term answer. Okay. Now, other guys the Cowboys are signing here. Bolstering their depth. Darion Thompson, the safety, he's back. He's got a new deal. He's been extended. So, special teamers type of safety. And, I think he played decent, in filling in when injury came up. What's your thoughts on the Darion Thompson extension?
When Darion Thompson was a high draft pick that really didn't pan out for the New York Giants. He came in here. Cowboys took a chance on him when he had to fill in with Jeff Heath's shoulder, and Xavier Woods had some issues. Darion Thompson can play free safety and strong safety and special teams. And this move right here by the Dallas Cowboys, locking him in for 2 years, it buys you more time to get more special teams help and to get you more free safety or strong safety quality depth there at that position. So I'm all for Darion Thompson re-signing on this football team, Joe.
Yeah, it's a good move, and I think Coach Fossil likes it as well. So good, we gotta have the depth. You gotta have your special teamers guys. So that's a good little move there. All right. The other one, Sean Lee, the General. He's back, 1 year deal, and this is one that I like. I don't see this as a Sean, as comparing it to like a Witten type of situation. This is straight up depth. You're protecting yourself because we really don't know what the future holds for Leighton Vander Esch. We're hoping the best for him, but you got to protect yourself, and I feel like that's what this is with Sean Lee. You're protecting yourself.
Absolutely, Joe. You are protecting yourself. Securing the bag, well, the little chicken bag, but for Sean Lee, he's older. It's depth. He played well last year. Probably one of our most productive defensive players besides Robert Quinn last year. Mm-hmm. And like you said, they're protecting themselves. And a guy like Sean Lee in that locker room, in that defense with the new defense quarter, like Mike Nolan, it's gonna help.
Yeah, 1 year deal, $4.5 million. So pretty, very, very affordable deal for the leadership that you get. You know the player. You know what you're getting with him. There's no, there's no surprises here. You know that he's not going to play a full season. He's going to be, bubble wrapped in preseason, that kind of thing, which is fine. But the point that you made, which I thought was interesting, Mike, was in transitioning to the 3-4, which is a lot of us believe is going to happen at some point, or maybe there's a mix of it. Sean Lee really excelled. That was his peak when we were in the 3-4. Wouldn't you say that, Mike?
I would say that. I mean, Sean Lee in his prime led the whole National Football League in interceptions, being a linebacker. He excels in the 3-4. That's just what he does. That is Sean Lee's. He did that at Penn State. He did it early in his career with the Cowboys, and he might finish his career in it. Sean Lee knows the 3-4, and Sean Lee is a beast in the 3-4, Joe.
Yes, I totally agree, man. Great little move there. Now, as far as defections, who did we lose? Who did we just say, we're good? Byron Jones, the biggest one here. The big contract, the highest paid cornerback in the league currently now. Went to the Dolphins. Got a big mega contract. What's your thoughts on Byron Jones? How does it affect the team?
I think Byron Jones was already planned to leave. We've been talking about Byron Jones, forever this offseason. And, it happened. He went to the Miami Dolphins, and he's the highest paid corner in the National Football League. Cowboys didn't value Byron Jones that way, Joe. And it makes sense that he's not on this football team being the highest paid corner in the National Football League. And sometimes players are replaceable. Will it bite us? Only time will tell. But, good luck to Byron Jones. What he did, he defended that star when the Tennessee Titans went on there and celebrated on our star on the 50-yard line. Byron Jones was the first one to kick him off of it. He was a diehard Cowboy. He played like it. He acted like it. He had great on and off the field personality. It sucks to see him go. But at the end of the day, Joe, the price, the Cowboys didn't see it.
Yeah, they didn't. I didn't see it either. And he was one of these volatile conversations. Very. You had the player. You had fans that loved him, and you had fans that didn't really, like him. I always go back to what Dallas Cowboys fan 1980 said. He called him a safe corner, which I totally agreed. I totally agree with him on that because I felt like he was a safe corner, not elite. Elite corners get pick sixes. They go and jump routes. They get interceptions and turnovers. With Byron, he was a safe corner. He would cover. He would do his job. Very durable. But like we kind of talked about, with some of that durability because he made business decisions. I
Yes,
think
he
part of
did.
that. Yeah, I think a part of that is that, which and that's a smart player, protecting his body, and he earned his deal. That combine carried Byron Jones to where he's at now. So kudos to him. I mean, he's a good corner, but Cowboys, they're moving on. All right, so there he goes. The other
Makes
one,
sense to me.
yeah, the other guy here that there's an interesting move that I really didn't think was going to happen was Randall Cobb signed a 3-year deal with the Texans. So now the slot is open, literally. So we now have a job opening there. Indeed.com, baby. Slot corner needed. What's your thoughts on Randall Cobb leaving to the Texans? And what is the plan there now for the Cowboys, in your opinion, Mike?
You know, you know, it, I kind of didn't expect Randall Cobb to leave. He attended Mike McCarthy's press conference. He was all smiles. Mike McCarthy pointed him out.
Mm-hmm.
Calling him the 20-year-old kid that I grown, known, and love, and it was a shocker to me to see Randall Cobb go to Houston. But Cowboys are paying him $5 million for that 1 year. Houston's paid him 3 years, $27 million. In life, just in general, we always say you got to go where the money's at, and that's exactly what he did. And it sucks to lose Randall Cobb. I mean, he was like 270 yards away from being from 1,000. From Cowboys having 3 wide receivers at 1,000 yards, but he was productive. Now he did drop some balls. He had a little butterfinger issue, but at the end of the day, he brought some swagger to that offense that we haven't seen in a long time.
Absolutely, I'm right there with you. It was Mike McCarthy always brought him up in conversations. Like he really likes the player, but in this case, it looks like money was the big allure here. Which I can't blame him. You
gotta go where the money's at.
You gotta go where the money's at sometimes. But Amari Cooper did not do that. The Redskins actually offered him more money, and he declined.
Well, you got to look at here's the difference.
And I love it.
Older. Yeah, and I love it too. Randall Cobb's a little older than Amari Cooper. Randall Cobb's contract, this is probably his last one, right? So if you look at Amari Cooper, he wants to go where he can go win a Super Bowl. He's at the peak of his prime. He's going to be there for at least 3 years, 4 years. This might be his last contract, maybe one more. But Randall Cobb's chasing money. Amari Cooper is chasing Super Bowls.
Chasing the ring, and no doubt he has the best chance with the Cowboys and Mike McCarthy. He just wasn't going to have. He's just not. I really do love Ron Rivera. Being Hispanic myself, I love to see him do really good in the NFL. I think it's good it's just a good thing, But
I 1,000% agree.
Dwayne Haskins just is not the answer. He should have stayed another year at Ohio State. Came out too early, and it showed last year. And I don't know. I just get this EJ Manuel, Cardell Jones kind of just a mediocre type of guy. And I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't see it there. And Amari Cooper didn't see it either. So we'll see. We'll see how the NFC shakes out. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be very fun.
And shout out to Amari Cooper for being loyal to the star.
Yes, yeah, because man, we were kind of sweating balls, as you could say, man. I know you and I are just like, man, this has to happen. They cannot bumble this, And
yes,
they came through. Thank God.
Yes.
So everybody out there, cheers to that. Take a shot of whatever you like. Take a shot with us because that's what we're doing. The other interesting defection, Robert Quinn went to the Bears, got a really nice contract. So what's your thoughts there on the Robert Quinn defection, and what do the Cowboys do now at the other pass rushing position?
I think this is a really good question. And the first reaction was like, oh no, we lost Robert Quinn. Right? So I'm going to touch on Robert Quinn, then I'm going to talk about our backup plan. So Robert Quinn, obviously he got paid up. Cowboys sack leader, 11.5 sacks. We gave him up for chump change. Now it looks like we might be getting a third compensatory pick for him in the year 2021. Smart move by the Cowboys front office. Obviously, it sucks. I met Robert Quinn. I talked to Robert Quinn. I got a picture with Robert Quinn. And, you know, he had his options of the Saints and the Cowboys, and he chose the Cowboys. And so now he's in Chicago, and he proved he still got it. I mean, he's up in age too, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, sometimes you got to go chase when you're older, an older vet, sometimes you got to chase that last contract, because this is probably Robert Quinn's last contract in the National Football League, and it all makes sense. You got to go where the money's at, just like Randall Cobb. Robert Quinn did the same thing. But the backup solution to this, Joe, is the CBA passed, and we got a right defensive end. His name is Randy Gregory, and he has to stay healthy. There's been reports coming out that this is the last time he's ever going to be suspended indefinitely by the National Football League. He's ready to go, and he sees a big, bright, open spot on the Cowboys' right defensive end, and it's time for Randy Gregory to make that bag worth it.
I just can't wait, man. I can't wait. I've been pulling for Randy Gregory for a couple of seasons now, and I'm not gonna lie. When we first drafted him, I absolutely hated the pick because it was all his troubles were out there. You know, they were all well documented, and he just felt that he was gonna get suspended, that he couldn't shake it, and he sure enough he did. But you start to hear the story, you start to hear, you know, why and this and that, and you can see, you know, that this is not about somebody that just wants to be lazy and getting high all day and this kind of thing. I mean, he's dealing with actual real life issues. Exactly. So I'm excited for it. And he's definitely going to be in the mix. I still want to throw another pass rusher out there. I know we have Dorrance Armstrong and some of these other guys that'll be in the mix, but I want to keep getting better and better. You know, I don't want to completely rely on it, but he is going to be something for us this year. I wholeheartedly believe that, and I think it's a good thing, man. I'm glad that the NFL finally caught up to the times here with this, because it was getting too ridiculous, man. It
really was.
But yeah, good move there by the Bears to get themselves a good commodity. But you know, the age I think came into a factor. Now, what I do want to bring up here, Mike, is these NFL players are seeing this. You know, these free agents that have not signed yet, they're seeing what a 1-year deal can do for the career, coming here to Dallas. So I think some of that allure might help us get, you know, and I know we traded for Quinn, but some of these other players that we got in free agency, you know, they really benefited from the 1-year deal. I mean, look at Randall Cobb. He flipped it into a good little contract with Robert Quinn. You know, he turned it into a big contract. So some of these free agents are going to be out there like, hey, I can do a 1-year deal for the Cowboys. I'll show out. I'll get me an extension somewhere else. But you're going to get good play out of some of these 1-year guys, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it doesn't always happen. You know, you got some of these other ones that are 1-year deals that just didn't really pan out. But for some of these guys, they really do put all their everything on the line for it. And I think Quinn really is one of those examples, and Cobb as well. You know, they had pretty good seasons. The other defection here, we kind of touched on it earlier. Jason Witten, the GOATs. He's going to be a Las Vegas Raider. What do you think about this one here? How does it affect tight end? I guess we kind of already touched on. But what's your feeling here on Jason Witten going to the Raiders?
Yeah, you know, he felt like he had some stuff left in the tank, and he feels that he does. John Gruden and the Las Vegas Raiders feel that he does. You know, if you look at the money, his average salary was $8 million. He came back on $5 million. Now he's playing for the Raiders for, $4.7 million. So it's never about money with Jason Witten. Yeah. He just loves the game of football. And I can't be mad at Jason Witten, you know, and it's gonna really suck seeing him in a nasty, god-awful black uniform. But at the end of the day, he wants to play. And when Blake Jarwin got that contract, the money, the the writing was on the wall, Joe. And he sees an opportunity, being a 38-year-old tight end in the National Football League and getting signed this early. He had to take it because he wasn't going to get many.
Absolutely. And I think a part of this, I think the other thing here too about Witten and Gruden, I think Gruden, I kind of felt that he needs a little bit more of a leadership, personality in that locker room, and the perfect one, is probably Witten. He's one of the best ones in it. He's gonna coach up some of those guys, and very professional. Goes about his way. Handles his work as a business. So it's a good move for both parties. I do hate to see Witten leave, but it's part of the game, man. Players come and go, and it was Witten's time already.
Absolutely.
Malik Collins, defensive tackle. He is also a Las Vegas Raider now. So what's your thoughts here on Malik Collins, defensive tackle, leaving towards the Raiders, and how does that affect the defensive tackle opening now?
It affects it big time, and I'm frustrated, not because Malik Collins went to the Raiders, is because Malik Collins never stayed healthy.
Mm-hmm.
When you expected Malik Collins to go out there, he's like, man, this nose tackle probably get 8 sacks this year. He gets 2 because he gets hurt. Oh, Malik Collins, he could probably get 8 sacks this year, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
He gets hurt again.
Yeah.
And that was so frustrating when it came to Malik Collins.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, we have a cap casualty in Tyron Crawford. I don't know if they'll cut him or trade him. I don't know what they'll do with Tyron Crawford, but it hurts us. But then again, there's still some defensive tackles out there that the Cowboys can sign and bring those guys in here. But I'm frustrated because he never stayed healthy, just never worked here in Dallas, and I wish him luck in Las Vegas.
And that's well said, and that's really what really robbed Malik Collins from getting a big contract out in free agency. He just couldn't stay healthy. His feet are bad. He's always breaking his feet, fracturing them, missing a lot of time, like you said. It was always kind of thought that he was going to be the next Warren Sapp and this and that. It just never happened. Injuries robbed him of that. So we'll see what he does there in the Raiders. The next one here, Mike, safety. Jeff Heath is also a Las Vegas Raider. What's your thoughts here on Heath leaving in the depth there at safety now?
Yeah, that's why we racked up Darion Thompson. You notice as soon as I think the Cowboys knew Jeff Heath was leaving, or they knew they weren't going to bring back Jeff Heath, they wrapped up Darion Thompson, and Jeff Heath said, okay, well, I'll go ahead and go to the Raiders. And, this is another one, oh, God, I used to hate Jeff Heath. And I don't want to use the word hate, but I just couldn't stand Jeff Heath. I mean, the first 2 years, just blown coverage against the Saints in that 45-3 blowout, I think it was about 4 or 5 years ago. And Jeff Heath had a lot to do with that. I mean, made Drew Brees look like Joe Montana, respectively, right? I mean, Drew Brees is obviously a good quarterback, but Jeff Heath had some highs and lows in Dallas, and he did have some blown coverages this year. Special teams, I mean, hell, he made a field goal for us, and we had some kicker issues there. That's another one. It sucks to see him go, but I get it. We got to get better at that position, and the only way to get better is letting people walk. And maybe this is a good sign for Grant Delpit or Xavier McKinney to come in here and take that spot. But I wish luck to Jeff Heath, but it does bring some more strong safety concerns to this Dallas Cowboy roster.
Yeah, good point, man. Is it going to be, we know it's going to be Xavier Woods, and the question is, who will be playing next to him? Will it be a rookie, Delpit or McKinney, or somebody in the second or third round, or will it be Donovan Wilson, a very versatile safety? He now has his secondary coach here with the Cowboys from A&M, so he definitely knows the player, his capability, and he's already seen his progression, so let's not forget about Donovan Wilson. We'll see what they do there at safety, but it's I think we'll miss him most on special teams. Just safety play, just was It was adequate. He was always fully upgradable, but the Cowboys just been so stubborn in throwing a high capital pick in the draft for safety since Roy Williams out of Oklahoma, you know.
Mm.
But this was before Parcells came in here, so it's been a very long time since we've drafted a safety high. So we'll see if that changes this year. But yeah, Jeff Heath no longer with the Cowboys, so I'm sure a lot of fans are relieved by that. I'll be surprised if there's anybody that's really sad by it. But um, another interesting tidbit here: the Cowboys are declining to do the club option on Cam Fleming, our swing tackle. So it's a little bit of an interesting little uh, bit of news there on that, because now the question is, are they going to go with one of their practice squad guys like a Brandon Knight, or is it going to be the loser of the battle between the Connors? Who will take that swing tackle position? What's your kind of feeling there on the swing tackle position, Mike? Which is very important considering some of the issues that Tyron Smith has here lately.
Yeah, this is a great question, and with Cameron Fleming, the Cowboys messed up Cameron Fleming because he's a right tackle.
Mm-hmm.
The Cowboys being stubborn, they moved him at left tackle and just never worked out. Yeah, he did fill in. He did okay. I mean, if you compare it to Chaz Green, he did amazing. But you got to get better there. Tyron Smith is getting up in age. McGovern, Connor Williams. You brought up Brandon Knight, which I think can really do some good things for us at swing tackle. So there's pieces there, especially with Brandon Knight. So I don't see this a big hit, but at the end of the day, if the Cowboys believe in Brandon Knight, they got to get him up to par and use him to the best of his ability, and not pull stuff under the Jason Garrett era like we've seen for 10 years.
Absolutely. He was a right tackle specialist. Got into the Super Bowl with the Patriots playing right tackle as a starter. So yeah, it just and the Cowboys have kind of been notorious for putting players out of position. There's always going to be the old age argument of Lyle Collins is better as a guard than he is a tackle. And that kind of thing. So Cowboys, they kind of do that under the Garrett administration anyway. But now it's Mike McCarthy time, baby. I can't wait to see what these guys do, man. It's they're making these little moves, and I'm sure that we're gonna see some mid-tier guys here. I mean, what's your feeling here, Mike? I mean, we're coming up here on the official kickoff for free agency. Do you feel that the Cowboys have one more semi-big splash, or is this going to be kind of status quo like it has the last couple of seasons, where we're kind of quiet, we kind of wait a little bit, and then we pick up a couple of mid to lower tier guys? What's your gut feeling here?
Well, they restructured some contracts, right? They restructured Lyle Collins, they restructured Zeke. Mm-hmm. It just filled in $4 million. That's basically all it did, right? Mm-hmm. And I think the Cowboys still have $40 million to work with, or maybe $35 million. But I mean, you got guys, like Chris Harris Jr., who's been having his name tied to the Cowboys for many weeks. You might not like what I'm going to say here, but you got Nakadama Sue in the middle there. You got guys like Michael Pierce for the middle. Mike Daniels, played for some years there with the Denver Broncos. I mean, you still got pieces, to fill in that corner, to fill in that defensive line, at that second tier spot. And if the Cowboys restructure more contracts or cut Tyrone Crawford, stuff like that, you expect a big splash. And I think the Cowboys, they got some room still to go do some stuff.
Now, the question I have for you, Mike, here is, where is the beef? Where's the Baconator at? Is it going to come here in free agency, or do you think we're going to draft a Baconator defensive tackle? What's your feeling here on that, Mike?
I think you would need to go to the draft to go get it, but if you want some beef, Nakadama Sue, he can get you what you want at that position. Defensive line, Michael Pierce can get you that stuff. I mean, he's played a lot of snaps in the National Football League. I brought up Mike Daniels, a long time player. He might be on the wrong side of 30, but he can get you some beef there too. But if I'm the Cowboys, I'll dip in the second tier. Shelby Harris too. I would dip into that second tier and then go protect yourself with a draft pick.
Yeah, hopefully that's the plan. I totally agree. It's got to be. I think you got to add someone. Yeah, definitely. There's some of these older cats that are available. They could provide some depth, but there's still a lot. There's still a lot of guys out there. I still like Ashawn Robinson from Detroit. Linval Joseph from the Vikings is available as well. So
Snacks
Harrison. Everybody likes Snacks. Everybody wants him here. My biggest question is, how much does he have in the tank, and why does he keep getting released from these teams? You know what I mean? So there's something that needs to be asked, something that needs to be confirmed on Snacks. But I mean,
he is 31 years old though.
Yeah, he is. He's right there with some of these other guys we're talking about. On the other side of 30. So. That's a lot of things to consider. Cowboys in recent years haven't really been big players on players over 30. So that's the other thing. Now, speaking of players over 30, and I know you love to talk about this, Mike, but is the conversation of Dez Bryant going to rear its head again here with the opening there at slot position? Possibly.
You had to bring this question up, huh?
How to do it. Sir. How to do it because it's going to be talked about amongst fans. They want it to happen. What is your gut feeling ultimately on Dez Bryant and the Cowboys?
Oh, no, absolutely not. It's not. Ironically, I was asked this question last night by one of my followers that actually has my phone number. Leo, he actually helps me run my Facebook page, Dallas Cowboy Football News there. But, he said, hey, I want Dez back. I'm a big Dez guy. And I said, there's no way. And jokingly, I said, I don't even want Dez Bryant living in Dallas, But I go back to when Dez Bryant was here with Dak Prescott. There was no chemistry there. None whatsoever. And, you still got the draft to go get you some wide receivers, some slot wide receivers. And I just don't see how it would fit with Dez Bryant coming in here. With a new coach, a new regime, I just don't see a fit.
So not even as a camp body?
No, because when he gets cut, how many Cowboy fans are going to say, Mike McCarthy is crazy cutting Dez Bryant? Why? Oh, I'm off the Mike McCarthy train because he cut Dez Bryant. Mike McCarthy does not need any drama. It's a new era. It's a fresh start. You've seen a lot of veterans leave this football team. And you're going to see a lot of new guys come in here that Mike McCarthy is going to single-handedly pick. And Dez Bryant's not going to be one of them. It's time to face reality.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree, man. I'm with you on that because, and it's just typical Cowboys fans, and it's natural. You have a lot of attachment to the player, but it's been years since he's been at the peak performance. So I think even, to try to consider him as a slot player, I don't really see it either. And there's
Robbie Anderson.
There's a lot of good options. There's a lot of good options in this draft class for the Cowboys to get themselves a nice little player there, and I'm excited to see what they do there. Honestly, I don't think the answer is currently on the roster. I don't think it's Cedric Wilson or Noah Brown or one of these other guys that can't stay healthy. But
all right, Joe, Dez Bryant, or I'm going to give you a name. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Dez Bryant or Robbie Anderson?
Probably Robbie Anderson. I mean, he's obviously more active, and
okay,
and that kind of thing. But
one more, Dez Bryant, Emmanuel Sanders.
Emmanuel Sanders is an interesting one, but I want to say he's up in age as well. Isn't he like 33, 34?
He can still ball. He can ball better than what's his name, Des Bryant.
I think he's missing a lot of time too. So I don't know, man. That one I might have to flip a coin on that one, to be honest.
He's 33.
Yeah, I'll flip a coin on that one.
I'll pick Emmanuel Sanders to play me some slot wide receiver over Des Bryant all day.
Now, let me ask you this, Mike. Considering, what the Cowboys have done thus far, is anything surprising you? Or is this is what the Cowboys are now? They play kind of hardball. They franchise tag a player, and then they do the mid to lower tier free agents. Is this basically what the Cowboys are, or do you think they're going to change it up this year?
We'll see tomorrow. This is just legal tampering period. We'll see more tomorrow when free agents are actually free agents. Cowboys, they've always paid their own, and they've been doing that for quite some time.
Yeah.
Now, if there's a guy they really like, they're going to pursue it. But Stephen Jones already has a number in mind when he goes pursue a free agent. And if you outbid him, unless you're Amari Cooper, if you go outbid him, then he's gonna say, okay, you won, you outbid me. He's not gonna overpay for free agents. And there's some free agents out there that really help a team, but there's free agents that are like, why did I even pay this guy? So there's obviously a risk element to it too, and Stephen Jones knows that. He's been managing the salary cap for many years, and so Cowboys take care of their own, then they start dipping in. Now when I say that, I'm talking about the first tier. Now this year, seeing these holes, seeing players leave, you only got so many amount of draft picks. You got to start dipping in. You got to dip into the second tier and go get you 1 to 2 players.
Yeah, no doubt about it. They got to at least have a body there, and I feel like this is kind of what the Cowboys do. It's like you said, they're going to sign their players first. These are the big ticket. These are the splash, and I know fans hate to hear that, but that's the splash. The splash is keeping your franchise quarterback here and keeping Amari Cooper here. Those are your 2 big splashes already. For them to have another one is going to be a tall order. I don't really see it happening. I see them, kind of sticking to what the game plan has been. Kind of waiting to see how the market shapes up. A lot of other some familiar names are out there now. Leonard Floyd's available out there. What will he command? Will he want to do a 1-year deal for the Cowboys? And kind of resurrect his career, like I said. Can you get one of these guys on a 1-year deal and see what they can do for you? So it'll be interesting to see what happens here Wednesday.
Hey, Joe, I got a question for you though.
Yeah.
Let me bring you these numbers up before I bring my question up, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Drew Brees, average of $25 million a year. Phillip Rivers, an average of $25 million a year. Ryan Tannehill, an average of $29 million a year. And Teddy Bridgewater looks anywhere between $24 to $25 million a year. Is the salary cap market for quarterbacks changing, or were those numbers? And I'm curious to see what Tom Brady's numbers are, or is the market changing, the quarterback market changing, or is this a coincidence?
No, it's definitely changing. I mean, there's always going to be that next contract that kind of resets the market and keeps going up and up and up and up. So that's just the nature of the beast, who's currently the top paid quarterback right now? Is it
Russell Wilson?
Is it Russell Wilson at what, 34?
4, I think. Yeah.
So, I mean, you can fully expect Pat Mahomes to reset it, and then when you're looking at it, you're going to be looking at some of these other quarterbacks that they're on a good deal. But at the time, it's like, what? You want to pay this guy $30 million or $33 million? You're out of your mind. But then it doesn't take more than a season or 2 for the market to go crazy. I mean, Pat Mahomes, for sure, minimum $40 million. There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. I mean, and that number could balloon up to 45 to some crazy number people aren't even thinking about right now. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
but if for the Cowboys, if they do in fact feel that Prescott is the guy and he does good this season, and we get to the playoffs, they can't mess with it. They can't mess with it because they're going to be in the same boat. You know, and that number is going to be up there with Mahomes. It's going to go up into the 40s. It's going to go up to the 40s, and you got other young quarterbacks coming up too. You know, it's not just Prescott and Mahomes. You know, you got some other ones here. They're going to start coming up. Lamar Jackson, that's going to be some crazy contract when his deal comes up. So, you know, they got to get this thing done, man. They got to be smart about it.
Absolutely. No, I was just seeing, could those numbers affect a guy like Dak Prescott? Is the market value, is Russell Wilson, and you brought up a great point about Patrick Mahomes. That guy's going to get a massive payday, but is it going to be, we're thinking 40, but is it going to be 36? You know what I mean? Just because if the market value for QBs is resetting right now,
Mm-hmm.
No telling what it's going to look like here in a year. But right now, quarterbacks are getting less than $30 million a year.
Yeah, that's. I mean,
that's why I'm curious to see what Tom Brady's contract's going to be.
Well, they're saying that his is supposedly is going to pay $30 million per year. So we'll see what that is. But I mean, we're talking about a 42, 43-year-old quarterback. What is he? 43? I think he's 43.
He's 43.
Right? Yeah,
so, Tom Brady.
Yeah, so and I think he's kind of just wanting to get his payday finally because he's been, the
42.
Yeah,
he'll be 43 August 3rd.
He's been getting paid $15 and $20 million, to kind of help the team out and things like that. But I mean, he's got a lot of rings. You can do stuff like that when you got a bunch of rings and you can just really, help the team out. But like I said, we've talked about this before. This is a different age of player. This is not. These are not kids from the 70s or 80s. We're talking about kids from. I mean, we're talking about millennials, pretty much. It's a different thought process. They want the money. They want that money right now, and can't blame them. The quarterback shelf life for a lot of these guys on average is not very long. You had the CBA, kind of illustrates that. You have the haves versus have-nots, but there's more have-nots than the haves, and that's what really pushed this through. These lower-tier guys, they were going to benefit way more than the rich, the top percent. So the have-nots got it done. They pushed this CBA through, and it was close, but they pushed it through,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm glad there was no lockout. Definitely glad there was no lockout.
Yeah, the lockout, that was because that was not fun, man. That was not fun for
2011.
fans. I remember that crap. And man, and it's hard. It feels like it was just yesterday, dude. But I felt like I hated that feeling, and it stuck with me forever because, it wasn't fun.
No, it wasn't. But man, what a crazy legal tampering period so far.
Yeah, crazy.
Joe, I know we're going long here on the show, but if there was a Cowboy to get traded that's on this team right now, and he was to get traded, who do you think that player would be?
If there was a Cowboy to be traded, you got to look at someone that has value. The Cowboys, they just hold on to these players too long. So, to me, the only one that would make sense would be, Tyron Smith, left tackle.
Oh, you took mine. You took mine.
But I don't think you get a first rounder for him. And I know fans are gonna be like, "Well, it's Tyron Smith and this and that. You got to get multiple picks." If it was about 4 seasons ago, I would say yeah. But he's good. He's beat up. I mean, he came into the league as a 19, 20-year-old. I mean, he was very young, so he's been playing a long, long time. And that was Jason Garrett's first pick for the Cowboys.
There was.
and he's been really good. He's played through a lot of pain. Everybody knows that. He's been really. I mean, he's a pro. I mean, he's a Hall of Fame first ballot Hall of Famer. I don't think anybody would argue that. But you're not going to get a first rounder for him at this point. You could probably get something decent. Maybe a second and a mid rounder. But I'm not even sure about that. But you never know. Sometimes when teams get real desperate or they lose a player and they're looking for somebody, it could help bump that up a little bit. So I don't know. What about you, Mike? Anybody?
Yeah, because you took Tyron Smith, I'm going to go ahead and say Tyrone Crawford. If Cowboys trade him, they save $8 million on the cap, and that frees you up, to get younger, to get one of these free agent guys. So, my guy would be Tyrone Crawford, but where's his value at? He's coming off hip surgery. Teams are going to be really questioned about that with the coronavirus. It ain't like he can go to a team and get a physical right now. It's crazy out there. So, it's just one of those things. But that would be my guy. Would be Tyron Crawford.
That's a great point, Mike. Because this coronavirus is affecting free agency in that aspect. Because there's a lot of travel restrictions. The teams have closed their facilities, so you're almost having to do some of these physicals remotely, or I don't know. I don't even know how they're doing them at this point. I don't know if they're having to include that in the contract or something. I'm not really sure, honestly. That's a really good point as far as doing the physicals. So maybe that makes some of these teams become gun shy on some of these players that are getting released. Like, why are you releasing a player like a Linval Joseph? Why are you letting go of a Leonard Floyd? Is there something wrong? Is it a back? Is it a knee that we don't know about that the team has really, kind of covered up? But when he's on the market, you discover, hey, this guy's got a jacked up, knee, or he's got a busted up lumbar, something like that. You know what I mean? So, yeah, this dang coronavirus, bro, it's jacking up all kinds of stuff. Hopefully, this crap goes away.
Yeah, they already announced that the NFL draft is still going to happen, but there's not going to be no fans.
Yeah, and that's a shame because that really has become just like the biggest things
off-season event.
Yeah, right there with the Super Bowl. So you and I and a lot of guys that we talked to, Dallas Cowboys 1980 and Foots and a lot of these other guys, we were able to meet at the draft. It's a really fun experience, man. It's such a shame that fans are not going to be able to experience that in Las Vegas to top it off. I almost went. I almost was going to go to that and reserve a hotel and the whole nine, man. Can you imagine? That would have been a disaster. So,
yeah. And hopefully, if you're planning on going to the draft, try to go to the next one. Joe brought up a great point about getting that experience. LaDainian Tomlinson was never a Dallas Cowboy, but I watched him as a kid, and then this is my greatest draft moment ever. It was being at the draft. He was literally 20 feet from us, right?
Yeah.
And LaDainian Tomlinson did his touchdown celebration, the teardrop, and just to see it in person was the coolest thing in the world. Yes, he was never a Cowboy, but just him being a Hall of Famer, knowing that that's his touchdown celebration and to see it in person was awesome.
Yeah. I like LT, man. And it was fun, man. It was a great time, dude. It was. I would definitely go to another one. Hopefully, the next one will be close by. They're talking about maybe New Orleans, maybe Houston might be into it. So, we'll see. We'll see where they have the next one. I don't know if they have announced where the 2021 was going to be at. Have they said that yet?
No, I haven't heard anything. Maybe they'll announce it during the draft.
Yeah. So, yeah, man, the NFL draft is being affected by this. So, obviously the broadcast, everybody's going to be glued to the TV still, especially with a lot of the sports getting delayed and everything. So,
Absolutely.
It's still going to be a hell of an event. And whether or not they have the prospects walking some kind of stage, meeting the commissioner, we don't even know if they'll do that. But they'll have the analysts, NFL Network, ESPN. They'll break down each pick, and it's still going to be a good time, man. It's still going to be
It's just
fun.
ain't going to be no fans.
Yeah.
It's going to be the same thing, minus fans.
Yeah, minus the fans, and it's just a safety thing. And at this point, we all want to stay safe out there, guys. So we hope all you guys are staying safe during this pandemic, man. This is something we've never seen. So hopefully you guys are able to stay in and stay out of harm's way, man.
Yes, guys. Stay safe. Wash your hands. Don't touch your face.
Yeah, easier said than done, but yeah, definitely practice that social distancing, the whole nine. Well, that's it, guys. We hope you enjoy this free agency frenzy Tuesday edition of the Frisco Report. And I don't know, Mike. We might do a touch up here on the weekend. Maybe we'll circle back and see what these guys do the rest of the week, and maybe do a little quick hitter on the weekend, maybe if we have time.
Hey, I'm absolutely down for that.
Yeah, so keep that in check, guys. Make sure you're following us on Twitter at the Frisco Report. Mike, let these guys know where they can find you.
Yeah, right there. Dallas Cowboy Football News on YouTube and on Facebook. DCF News 1 on Twitter, guys. And since I've been doing this show with you, Joe, I've been getting a lot more hearts, a lot more mentions. It's kind of cool, and I follow everybody back, guys. So definitely give me a mention, get in my DMs, and we'll talk some X's and O's for sure.
Very well said, Mike. And you guys know me as well. Cowboys Blog on YouTube, Twitter, Cowboys Blog net. And hit me up, man. Exactly what Mike said. Hit me up. Let's talk some Cowboys football. And that's it, guys. We'll catch you for the next episode of the Frisco Report, guys. Peace out, everybody.
Peace.